Hello everyone! First of all, if you are my subscriber, sorry for not posting a video last Wednesday. My ISP was giving me a lot of trouble, and I think this is the third week in a row in which they are attacked via DDoSing. Because I could not play a decent game of World of Warships on Wednesday, I was pretty salty, and that's not really the spirit in which I want to make videos. Hopefully all of my ISP troubles are gone and coming weeks will be awesome again. So today's video will be a little bit different from the normal stuff. Today I'm not gonna talk about all the changes in the patch that affected different ships. I am gonna talk about what the patch did to the balance of the game and how that will result in your gameplay and performance in certain types of ships. So basically after this video, you know which ships are OP in this patch and which ships you should maybe avoid. And let me be clear about this. I'm not talking about padding stats in certain types of ships. I'm talking about in which ships you can actually carry games and turn them into a win. Also, I'm not gonna talk that much about zoo clubbing ships, as this channel is about improving your gameplay and not sitting still and farming stats. So let's start with the class I have least experience in, as I thought they were just a bit too OP in the last patch. The carriers. And before people get butthurt, if the server-wide win ratio on NA and EU is above 55% on average, I will call it OP. And yes, Delert, the US carriers on Tilterate are quite shit. That is totally true. I had some concerns with the IGN carriers and the Essex in Midway. Okay, so how did the patch affect the carriers? Well, from what I noticed, the matchmaking is fixed now, and carriers will get an equal tiered opponent. This has two major consequences. First, matchmaking can be a bitch, and I have seen screenshots of players waiting 30 minutes or longer for a game. And second, you are getting an opponent of equal tier, which could have a fighter setup. Now, waiting ridiculous amounts of time on a game is never fun, but the second point could actually work in your favor. Yes, it could be that you're not the only carrier in the game, but at least you're not fighting a Midway in your Shokaku. I am not the expert on carriers, but after checking all my internet sources and playing a lot of games, yesterday I noticed that carriers tend to go more for the fighter setup because they will have a carrier as an opponent. This does mean that they can do less torpedo and bomb drops and thus be less effective in dealing damage. So yes, in general CVs got nerfed quite a bit, but they are still able to carry matches. Now let's head over to the battleship class. I can be really clear here. During my stream I played mostly battleships to confirm my hunch after seeing the patch notes. Dear Wargaming, you went from World of Carriers to World of Tirpitz and now it will be World of Battleships. When properly aimed, you should be able to finish off one of your biggest counters in the game, a rushing destroyer at close range. The accuracy buff at short ranges also influences your accuracy at medium and long ranges. My very first game in Colorado got me 7 citadels and during the stream I got accused of hacking multiple times. So ready up your AP and get started on hitting them easy citadels on those cruisers. Furthermore, with the carriers receiving a nerf, another one of your biggest counters has less impact on you. So you should probably be going for the Yamato or the Montana during this patch, as the developers also made the grind a bit easier with the different hulls on the Japanese battleships. So after battleships comes cruisers. Now to be fair, I think cruisers were quite balanced and the developers definitely made ship specific corrections. The best example was the Furutaka, which used to be the end of the IGN careers of most cruiser players. Now it still ain't the best ship of the game, but it is much better than it used to be. They did nerf the OP Miyoko and Mogami a bit, but yeah, they were pretty strong. Now you would think, nice, they did not change a lot, but actually they did. As battleships are your biggest counter and they got quite a buff, you will have to do much more to get your much deserved win. Also, carriers were nerfed, so you will have to focus less on AA. The only thing that actually has gotten much better is finishing off destroyers at closer ranges. Now, that was already quite easy, so in general I will state that although not much has changed to the cruisers in general, they did get nerfed because of balance changes in other classes. Okay, the last class, destroyers, and I have to state this as soon as I can. This is a class in which I have to make a distinction between IGN and US destroyers. Let's talk US destroyers first. Playing the Farragut and the Mahan in the last patch was already not that much fun. This patch it will get even worse. Your one thing that really made your 1 out of 10 games fun was that YOLO on the enemy battleship, so you could finish them off. Now that one thing has been taken away. You can still do this, but it is quite difficult and I would say a 50-50 chance of surviving it. So US destroyers at tier 6 and 7 have to focus more on their guns, and this will make them quite boring to play. You already did not have that much of an impact on the game. Now with fopping in the back, spamming HE, your influence is even smaller. For the tier 8 and higher, not much will change. You still have your torpedoes that have quite a long range. The only thing on which you can hope is less carriers because of their nerf, so maybe you can influence the game a bit more. This is the same for the IDN destroyers at all tiers. You will have to focus on hitting your torpedoes at medium to long ranges, so you will not get spotted. If you are spotted at close to medium ranges, you will get punished hard for it. There is a bit more room for free play as the carriers got nerfed, and they will have to keep an eye on their counterparts. And now the extra? What did change for the premiums? I can only advise on the premiums I have, but here we go. The Yubari. 1 AA defensive fire will not win a game, so it is still really bad. And the Arkansas Beta? Well, I think it is time to test this ship a bit more with the accuracy buff. I think it got buffed a bit. And the Murmansk is just as OP as it used to be, and I think the best buy you can get for a premium ship. And the Sims? With the new long-range torpedoes, this is actually a fun ship again. Go try it out. So to sum everything up, if you want to influence the game a lot, go play battleships this patch. See you on the high seas, and you will do me a huge favor by sharing this with your friends.